The coronavirus is impacting sports teams and leagues around the world.
The NCAA tournament has been canceled for 2020.
As a basketball fan, I'm depressed. As a human being and as an American citizen, I'm getting to the point where I'm scared as hell.
The thing that everybody keeps talking about is whether or not they would play football with fans in the stadium or without them.
Major League Baseball to delay the 2020 opening day by at least 2 weeks.
The NCAA canceling all remaining winter and spring sports championships today. Wrestling championship, Women's College World Series in OKC, tennis championships in Stillwater, the College World Series, all of it canceled.
My name is Steele Walker. I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I'm a professional baseball player for the Texas Rangers.
I'm Reeves Munshaw. I play for the University of Oklahoma. I'm a punter. I'm from New Braunfels, Texas.
Hi, I'm Jade DeGavea. I'm from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and I was a gymnast on the University of Oklahoma women's gymnastics team.
I've been playing baseball as long as I could walk, and grew up a Rangers fan. I was actually drafted by the Chicago White Sox, but then last year I got traded to the Rangers. So this season, I was gonna have the chance to play right up the road from where I went to high school. So it was something I was definitely looking forward to, but it's crazy how it came to an abrupt pause.
I started gymnastics when I was 8. I got a scholarship to Oklahoma my senior year of high school. I had an amazing experience at the University of Oklahoma. I won 2 national championships and 3/4 Big 12 championships. I had kind of this set plan of what I wanted to do after I was done with gymnastics, and it was all kind of thrown into shambles. COVID-19 really abruptly ended my career as a gymnast and a D1 student athlete.
Well, COVID-19 has affected me because, one, our spring is canceled, so I don't get to practice with my team that I should be doing right now. I'm not getting snaps. It's a lot harder to focus on school now that I don't have anybody watching me. I'm still staying on top of it. I don't get to work out as much. I don't get access to my facilities, and it's really starting to take a toll.
I remember everything was just as normal as it could be during spring training. I'd been there for about a month, and like one case was documented in the US, and everything seemed to flip upside down once the NBA player Rudy Gobert came down with it. I think that's when the MLB, the NHL, NBA, all the college sports started to take a lot more notice. And that's when talks of, wow, maybe they'll suspend practice for a day or 2 or something like that. But never in our wildest dreams did they think they were going to send us home. One thing I do know is that baseball stops at nothing. You play every day, you play all the time, year round. So for them to cancel spring training the way they did it so fast, it took everybody by surprise. So they sent everyone home, and now I'm back in Dallas, where I was during the off season. It's crazy to think that just in a few days, I was going to start my season at the stadium in Frisco for the Rough Riders. But now it's just a ghost town. Really, as far as the Dallas community goes, everything is shut down. Cages, workout facilities, gyms, malls, stadiums. You know, there's coaches in Frisco that I can't even see that are my coaches during the season. And so it's just where the nation is. I think everyone has that same experience. But I think the most important thing is you don't regress during this time because it's a unique time and we're literally living history right now. So for me, I'm taking a look at it as it's a time for me to grow mentally, grow spiritually. And once the nation and the world does get back into action, I'll be more equipped than I was before.
We all knew that COVID was coming around. It started to spread, but we didn't think it was going to get as bad as it did until Coach Riley called us into a team meeting one day, and we were all sitting around. It was just kind of like an eerie silence, and then he broke it with spring ball's canceled, and like the room was dead. Like everyone was in almost like shock. I was pretty stunned as well because I don't know how I was going to practice. As of now, our season that's coming up is very unclear, but I know that we're all in it mentally and ready to attack it like it's going to be there. So in order to keep us on track, Monday through Friday, I wake up at 8 a.m. and get a call from my strength coach, Coach Scotty. Him and Benny, all the other guys, they've compiled some workouts and they've given us conditioning lists, all workouts to do with bands, med balls, just anything that they can do to keep us on track. And for, I would say, our special teams unit, that we've started to I wouldn't say enjoy being a part, but we're making the best of our situation. We've got a Snapchat group message that we've been talking in and just trying our best to keep up the morale.
So the day we found out, we had practice. I went to floor, did a really good floor routine, went to bars, did some really good bar routines. And then KJ called us all into the team room because at that point, everything was just coming out within the hour, like things were changing hour by hour. And she told us the news that the rest of the season was canceled, and I started hysterically crying. The most recent press release from the NCAA was a press release stating that they were granting spring sports an additional year. And at the bottom portion, there was like a 2-sentence long statement that winter sports would be excluded from this. There's a bunch of senior gymnasts that were waiting for this decision. And the fact that we were ultimately only granted 2 sentences to decide our future was extremely frustrating. I have been thinking about it a lot. There's a part of me that really probably would take that 5th year, just because I feel like I have more to give to the sport and to Oklahoma. But then there's that other part of me that's kind of like, maybe this is a sign. I don't know if my body can handle it, but I don't know. I do think, even though like all us athletes are pretty upset because our careers ended pretty unfortunately, we all realize that it's for a bigger purpose. And just knowing that there's so many other student athletes that are going through the same exact thing as me, it sort of makes you feel a little bit better, just because you know there's a community of people that are probably experiencing a lot of the same emotions.
From what we've been told, and really the way it seems to be going, we're for sure shut down for another month and a half, about 2 months. And then after that, we have to work back up, if we're even allowed to get back into playing shape. We obviously don't want to spread the corona any more than it's already spread. So I don't really have any expectations for this upcoming season. I just hope they don't rush things back in and rush fans back into the stadium, and then we have another rise in cases. That's the last thing we need. So as far as the season goes, that's not even a priority. This pandemic has just shown me that, one, baseball isn't everything. I just remember the day that they sent us home, it was raining that night, and I just remember thinking like, dude, what if baseball doesn't even exist after this, you know? And so you just get the perspective of like, the stuff that we do, that we hold so close to us and we feel like it's like life or death. It's not at all, you know?
I think more than anything, this whole pandemic has made me realize that you really never know what can happen to you, as well as the people around you, because there are so many people that are being so significantly affected by this. Haven't been able to see my family yet because I was kind of freaked out by this whole thing, and I'm scared to like get on a plane because I'm from South Florida, and Florida is sort of categorized as a hotbed for corona currently. I've, in these last 2 weeks, been extremely grateful for everything that I do have in this type of situation. And, you know, I have my health, and I'm still able to enjoy the outdoors and go outside.
I really now have the time to sit down with family that I never get. I'm home maybe 2 or 3 weeks out of the year, and it's honestly really nice being able to be at the house with my mom and dad, eat and cook dinner together, and just I've really started to value my family time.
I'm continuing to stay hopeful because God is merciful, and I know He holds the world in His hands.
I definitely think I'm staying hopeful during this time because I know there are a lot of people that are working hard to get this whole thing figured out, all of the amazing health officials around the world and everyone who's dedicated so much of their time and safety to solving this issue. I mean, although it is a roadblock and a huge one at that, I think it's always really important to kind of look at the light at the end of the tunnel.
I might be away from Norman, Oklahoma, but my mentality hasn't changed. I'm still getting it after in school. I'm going out punting, I'm working out. I'm just trying my best to make sure that I'm staying on the track and like everything could come back tomorrow.
One thing I would tell other athletes is just not rush back into anything or feel like you have to push yourself too hard at this time. Really, our nation's at a standstill, and athletes are for sure on pause. So keep yourself in shape, but don't take things too far. Preserve your body during this time.
For an athlete like myself, you've really got to count your days, because you never know when your season's going to end. I mean, for half the spring sports, their season was completely cut short. So just count your blessings, what you have.
I think if I were to give advice to other athletes that are experiencing a lot of the same things that I am, as well as, you know, this affecting them in a lot of probably different ways than I've been affected, I would just tell them to think about what they've done to get to where they are now and let that be their motivation to keep going. We don't know how long this is going to last. There's so much uncertainty, and in times of uncertainty, you have to have hope and you have to have motivation, because you can't just let this keep you from accomplishing all the things that you wanted to accomplish, especially in sports, because not practicing and not training can take a huge effect on your sport and your ability to do that sport. So just knowing that you've worked so hard to get to where you are now, and to not let this whole thing stop you from still getting to where you want to go.